Folks, welcome to another edition of Play Branson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. My name is Chris Meyer. I'm going to be your host for today. On today's show, we have Michael Horn. And Michael has been in Branson for a long time as an entertainer. He's part of the writers of Circle B. And they are out at Shepherd of the Hills in a show called the Shepherd's Chuckwagon Dinner Show. And so looking forward to hearing more about that show and his background in the entertainment industry. One of the things is we are in the middle of Ozark Mountain Christmas, and you might be saying, hey, what is there to do in town? And so I just happen to have this program from Lights of Joy. This is a Christmas light drive-through here in Branson. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's all new this year. And one of the things that's really cool is they give out this program, and in here, there are about 10 coupons for Branson shows that are some really incredible deals. There, I can't even tell you how good they are because I can't do that. You have to find out on the program. But you want to, they're just north of Sight and Sound Theater, and they're open from 5 to 11 every night through January 2nd. So be sure to go check out their new Christmas light displays. There's a ton of other Christmas light drive-thrus here in town to check out. We have Silver Dollar Cities, 6.5 million plus lights out there. And so Branson is a great place to come and experience at Christmas time. And of course, we have tons of Christmas shows, lots of great shopping. So we'd love to see you in Branson for Ozark Mountain Christmas. Hang tight and we'll be back in just a minute with Michael Horn.
The Christmas season is a perfect time for family traditions, and Branson's Lights of Joy, Branson's all-LED Christmas display drive-thru, is a great way to create those lasting Christmas memories. Whether you're young or young at heart, this is the perfect Christmas experience. We've got the perfect cure for cabin fever. It's time to get out and catch the Christmas spirit. Enjoy the lights from the comfort of your own car. Discover over 250 different Christmas displays and an amazing drive-through tunnel with state-of-the-art lighting. Branson's Lights of Joy is located just north of Sight and Sound Theater on Expressway Lane. Open nightly through January 2nd. Santa loves these lights and will be there on select nights. Visit lightsofjoydrivethru.com for more info and to book online.
Hey folks, welcome to Play Branson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers. And today on the show, for the first time ever, I have Michael Horn, who is with the writers of the Circle B's. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Nice to be here.
So, you guys came to Branson a long time ago, and you've been performing for a long time. So let's take people back and kind of talk about how you got into the entertainment business and kind of your journey, so to say.
Sure. So in the late 1990s, my family moved from Baltimore, Maryland, true city folk. We moved out to South Dakota, actually not in the city of Rapid City, but near Rapid City, out into the foothills of the Black Hills. And we took over a tourist ranch there where we took people on trail rides, and I learned how to saddle up the horses and drive a wagon team. My sisters all helped out wrangling the horses. We learned how to cook food for thousands of people. We sat up to 1,400 people there at our location in South Dakota. And then...
So were you, prior to that move, were you guys, were you a band or were you doing stuff prior to that? Or
So prior to that move, we were kids.
Okay.
I was actually I had just started college.
Okay.
Before we moved out to South Dakota. So my mother was an attorney in Baltimore, and my dad was a 18-year employee of the city of Baltimore as a tree trimmer, a forester.
Okay. So that was quite the change for your family.
Well, you said, were you a band? My father didn't even learn his first musical instrument until he was 49 years old.
Wow. That is amazing.
We started him playing the bass when we moved out to South Dakota because we figured it only had 4 strings, and so it'd probably be the easiest for him to pick up. And he did great with it. So we became a band when we moved out to South Dakota, and we needed to be a band to have entertainment for the folks coming to see us.
Okay. Wow.
So
That's pretty amazing.
well, I mean, it's been an adventure. And then from there, I mean, the music became very important to us. And as we grew older and developed our own families, we were looking for ways to make that become a more year-round employment opportunity for us. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest downfalls of our location in South Dakota is the tourist season really only is summertime.
Right.
So it's difficult to sustain multiple families on the income that a small tourist operation is only making for a quarter of the year.
Yeah.
So we started looking for other opportunities, and we hooked up with a fella out of Wichita, Kansas, and he offered to bankroll us and set us up down here in Branson.
Okay.
And our arrangement was going to be this. We were going to run it day to day, and he was going to be the money man and make sure that the business was working well behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. We would serve people and put on a show. And he became ill after we sold our homes in South Dakota and moved down here and bought homes. And he decided that he couldn't help us anymore. And so we started doing shows in people's living rooms and playing teaser shows. 417 magazine voted us best date night in Branson before we even had a show location. So we eventually purchased the Dinner Bell restaurant from Jess and Joe Wintermute.
Right.
And turned that into our own version of an indoor Chuckwagon supper.
Yeah.
Kind of trying to recreate what we did up in South Dakota, but without the horses.
Yeah. And so what year was that you did launch that?
So I believe that was 2003 that we moved down here, maybe 2005 before we got it up and running.
Okay.
And we kept that going in operation for several years. We ended up moving, selling that location, and we moved over to the old, it's gone by several names. Wildwood Flower Theater.
Okay.
Branson Central Theater.
Yes.
I don't know what it's called now.
Yes. I know where you're talking about.
Yeah. So we were there the last couple of years. We ended up shutting the show down, I believe, at the end of 2012.
Okay. So you guys have kind of been, so to say, out of the market for a while, and you became a practicing attorney.
Well, I went to law school in South Dakota before we moved down here, and I was a prosecutor for a few years, but we really all wanted the focus to be on our show, and so I didn't even take the bar exam for several years.
Yeah.
But I did take the bar again in 2011, and so I've had my own law office operating in Branson since then. So
talk about what happened that you guys came back together and you're out at Shepherd of the Hills in the Shepherd's Chuckwagon dinner show now. So talk about how that happened.
Well, I thank the folks at Shepherd of the Hills. They contacted us and asked us if we wanted to do a show because they were looking for some cowboy style entertainment, and the Sons of the Pioneers, who had been performing there in recent years, they were taking more dates on the road and weren't going to be around as much. So we started up again last year. That would be the 2020 fall and Christmas season.
Okay. So during that time frame, like when you stopped 2012-ish, did your family ever get together and perform again, or did you keep playing guitar, or was it like, hey, we're kind of done, or what kind of happened after that?
Well, I at that point, I already had a couple of different bands that I had been playing with. Okay. So I have an Irish rock and roll band I play with called Ire and Brimstone, and I sing and play guitar. We also have a little like folk jam band I have with my buddy Sam, and my dad and sometimes my sister sit in with us called Jam McClanton. And now we've got a new band we started, which is really just me and my dad and my sister. We call it Wonder Flan, and we kind of do pop stuff, but in a more folksy style, just for fun for us. So we've been playing music off and on over the years, but not a put together show like this
Okay.
since 2012.
So when you have these bands, are you going to any clubs, any venues, any festivals, or is it just kind of in someone's house, back, basement, or what?
Well, so I can't speak for other performers or other musicians, but for me personally, the thrill of it is when I get to play for a live audience.
Yeah.
That's the part that I enjoy the most. So we try to book a show at least once a month somewhere around town, either at Waxy O'Shea's or the Outback Pub, or there are a couple of other places we play.
Okay.
So yeah, we're.
See, I didn't even know that. So this is why we have you on the show, so I can learn about all these bands and stuff. This is a good stopping point. We'll be back in just a second. We're going to talk more about the show out at Shepherd of the Hills. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This season, the magic of Christmas is alive and well at the Shepherd of the Hills in Branson. Bring the whole family to visit Santa at the workshop, along with the new walkthrough experience in the North Pole Adventure. See Santa's reindeer and ride Rudolph's hayride that takes you through thousands of twinkling lights to North Pole Tower, where you can enjoy the magic of Santa's Super Sleigh coaster rides and the Big Elf's Adventure Ropes course. Branson's favorite family Christmas experience is at the Shepherd of the Hills.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. We're talking with Michael Horn, who's with the Riders of Circle B, and they are out at Shepherd of the Hills, and the show is Shepherd's Chuckwagon Dinner Show. So maybe no one's ever heard of Shepherd of the Hills. Maybe they've never heard of what you do. And so let's talk about the show and what people can expect when they come.
So I don't know how far back you want to go, but there was a book written back in I guess it was the early 1900s, called Shepherd of the Hills. And it talked about these quirky characters that lived in the Ozark Mountains. Mm-hmm. And apparently this story was based on real live places and real people. So there's actually a location a little bit west of town on 76 that's Shepherd of the Hills Homestead, I think they call it. Yeah. And so they do a reenactment of the Shepherd of the Hills book. They reenact that story in an outdoor drama whenever there are warm months. And because that has been such an integral part of Branson's tour, becoming a tourist destination, the folks that are running the Shepherd of the Hills Homestead are doing a great job really turning that into an attraction. They do festivals all year long to celebrate things like pumpkin fall season. Right now they're doing the Trail of Lights, which is a drive-through Christmas display with music. So they've also built a new mountain coaster. They've got zip lines from one of the highest points in the area. And they've developed, in addition to their outdoor drama, they've also developed an intimate playhouse that's very close to the road, convenient to get to. And it seats, I would say, between 200 to 300 people. So it's a nice intimate venue. And they have had such great success. People just really have been loving their dinner shows.
And that's what you have.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
So in addition to our cowboy, we do our cowboy Chuckwagon style meal and old Western music, Western swing, Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys, Sons of the Pioneers. I write some original cowboy tunes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of fun with it, but they've got some other dinner shows there too. They do a whodunit murder mystery show, and also one they call Funny Farm. And they're very popular. The guys out of Shepherd of the Hills are killing it.
Yeah. And so they asked you to come back. Your family said, "Hey, we'll do this." And so you guys have been there since what? You told me was it last fall?
That's right. So this is our second Christmas season there. We've got a nice little niche we've been carving out. We've had a lot of buses been liking the show, and we've been having pretty steady numbers. So we hope that they'll invite us back, and we've been very happy with. On a personal level, we've been very happy with how we've progressed since the last time we played. We feel like we're much better musicians now, and
and so you play guitar. That's your primary instrument, correct?
So in the show, I play guitar and ukulele. I also like to dabble on other instruments, but guitar is my main instrument.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. And so if somebody's looking for what we would call authentic kind of country western and maybe old style country western, this would be a great show for them to go to.
So over the years, our group has been a part of an association called the Chuckwagon Association of the West. And some of your viewers might be familiar with some of the Chuckwagons in places like Colorado Springs, the Flying W Chuckwagon, the Bar D Chuckwagon in Durango, the Bar J in Jackson, Wyoming. There's a great one in Wichita. The fellas at the Diamond W are still doing a Chuckwagon style show. So in a Chuckwagon style show, you're going to get a lot of comedy, camaraderie between the band members, some talking between the audience and the band, kind of an interactive show, as well as a lot of 3 and 4 part cowboy harmonies. In our show, we've got twin fiddles, which it's a really cool thing to hear live, hearing the fiddles harmonizing. We've got a young lady that yodels with us.
I want her on the show. I like yodelers.
Oh, man, I will tell you, she just turned 23 yesterday, and she plays fiddle for us, and she yodels. And I tell you what, when she opens her mouth to start yodeling, people just start applauding because she's got this little voice, but a big yodel.
Yeah. We had a yodeler on our show years ago. I asked someone to do it off the top of their head, and they did it. And it was great. It was great. So that's something you don't see a lot in a show, though. And so that is something that's unique and different.
I'd say both of those things are unique and different. I mean, you can't hardly throw a rock and hit a show in Branson without a fiddle, but 2 fiddles, it gives a really unique sound. And the yodeling, I'm going to be honest with you, I've tried it before. I would not subject other human beings to it. But Anna, on the other hand, she's a lot of fun to play with. I've really been enjoying musically how our show has been coming together this year.
So you have other family members in the show, but it sounds like you have people that aren't part of the family also. Is that right?
So that's exactly right. My dad plays harmonicas and percussion, like shakers and that sort of stuff. He sings. He's got a great voice, a great lead singer, great harmony singer. He also does some cowboy poetry in the show. And then my little sister, Christiana, she's kind of, I would say she's our lead singer for the show.
Okay.
And she's got some very jazzy songs that she does, like Navajo Trail. In our Christmas show, we do a really jazzy version of kind of a la Judy Garland, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Okay. And she plays the acoustic bass. Then in addition to the family, we've got Anna Lang and Junior Merritt, and they're both from the Marshfield area, the Ava area, and they play twin fiddles for us, and Anna yodels.
Okay. That is so neat. And, I will see, one of the things about Branson that I love is there's such a big variety of types of entertainment. And a lot of times people have said, it's just country music. And I'm like, no, it's a variety. But even your variety is a little different than somebody else's. And so that's what makes it neat, is because there's a lot of different things people can see here.
I bet you. So this is something that we don't talk about that much, but used to be a topic of conversation for us, at least. Cowboy, we consider our music to be more the cowboy and the western side rather than the country side.
Right.
I bet there's probably not a single song that we do in our show that you would hear in a country show unless they had a yodeler, in which case they would probably do Cowboy Sweetheart.
Yeah. So your Christmas show, is it some Christmas, all Christmas? Like, how's that work?
Well, I'm going to be honest. In order for us to say we're doing cowboy music, there's a certain number of tunes we got to get through. We've got to do Cool Water.
Yes.
We've got to sing Tumblin' Tumbleweeds. Now we got the yodeler, so we got to do Cowboy Sweetheart and When Payday Rolls Around. Then we got the twin fiddles, so we've got to do a couple of Bob Wills tunes and a couple of hot fiddle numbers. So I'll tell you how our show works. The first half, we do just cowboy music. Then we take a break for people to stretch their legs just for a couple minutes. And then we come back dressed in cowboy clothes, and we start off with Green Sleeves. We do some more cowboy tunes, and then we do another 4 or 5 Christmas tunes at the end of the show. Okay. So it's light on the Christmas music.
Yeah. But that makes sense.
We integrate it into the format.
Okay, folks, here's the deal. Like, when this airs, there's going to only be like 3 more times. So if you happen to see this on December 9th, they have a show on December 9th. And the timing on these shows are typically 7 o'clock, right?
Yes, sir.
And on December 28th and 30th will be the last 2 times you can see this show this year. So there's only a couple more times you can see it. And we hope that they'll be back next year in Branson, but that's to be determined at this point. So I just think it's great to have you back on stage. And of course, it sounds like you're doing other gigs in town, like with some of your other bands, but it's great to have you back out doing this country, this Western cowboy music. So
I don't take offense at that at all.
Yeah.
Saying country, we love it, and we love being back on stage. So cheers. Thanks for your assistance.
Okay. We'll be back in just a moment to wrap the show up.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey folks, we're wrapping the show up today. We want to thank Michael Horn for coming. You've got only a few more times that you can see their show out at Shepherd of the Hills this year. You're going to get a great meal included with the show. So be sure to book those shows. Like I said, you have December 9th, the December 28th, and 30th, and that will be it for the rest of the year. Just to let you know about a few shows coming up in town. On tonight, December 9th, you've got Home Free, the warmest winter holiday tour over at the Mansion Theater. Tomorrow night, Terry Bradshaw will be in town on December 10th over at Clay Cooper's Theater. And then Rhonda Vincent will also be in town next several days on December 10th, 11th, and 12th over at the Mansion Theater. She is one of the most awarded bluegrass entertainers in the country. So you'll want to be sure to go see her and her band. Next week's entertainer is Ken Brown. Downtown Kenny Brown, I think is how he goes, from the Hamners Variety Theater. First time he has been on the show, so we look forward to getting to meet him and learn more about his entertainment background. And if you're sitting at home and you're saying, I'm ready to go to Branson, don't know what to do, you can go to iBranson.com. You can see all the show schedules that are out. You can book your hotel, your show, your attraction, and you can do it without all these super huge, costly service fees that maybe some other folks might be charging. And you can also call them at 877-ENTERTAIN. Those folks can help plan your Branson vacation. They're local experts. When you call that number, you're not going to reach somebody halfway around the world that doesn't know anything about Branson. You're going to talk to people in Branson that know a lot about Branson. So come to Branson. We'll see you soon, and we'll see you next week on Play Branson.